Yes, welcome back. This week it is just me and my co-host.
Yeah, the Ed Ball and Miguel Sanchez.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I'm Ed Ball. And then Miguel Sanchez. Yeah,
That's us. It's the Ed and Miguel show, yeah.
Yeah, Luis, our buddy, is out this week, but here to replace him is Miguel's hot-looking haircut.
Oh, baby.
Find us on YouTube to check that shit out.
I wore a hat. Thank you. I wore a hat today, so it looks like a mess. But no, I got a fancy dancy haircut.
As much as a mess as like fucking anybody with as short a hair as you could possibly get. Like me, I get messes. I'll send you my bed head.
Yeah.
Like
no, I gotta.
It's wild. But
I gotta do this the entire episode. If I turn this way, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, you just see the nice fade. It looks good. It looks good. Tried. So yeah, Luis is not joining us this week. It's the holidays. It's Thanksgiving week.
Schedules are funky.
It is funky, and we're actually recording a day earlier than we usually do. So, you know, whatever. We're here. We're here to roll with it. We're vibing, which me and Miguel do best, right?
I think so.
Yeah. So we don't have a future discussion this week, but we will be getting into a lot of things. Obviously, being Thanksgiving week, we are going to be looking at Black Friday deals. Miguel's going to walk us through everything that is worth buying this doomsday on Friday. For our audience listeners, Miguel and I used to work at Toys R Us, and we had to work Black Fridays on that hellish holiday, and it was not fun. And every year they started opening up earlier. Like, it started at 2 a.m.
Oh god!
Then midnight.
Yeah,
and then 10 p.m.
the night before.
The night before on Thanksgiving. So you would have to get stuffed up, full of food.
Yeah,
possibly alcohol.
And they would be like,
"Try to take a nap."
They'd be like, hey, you guys, we're going to feed you guys this entire shift. Here's a bunch of Subway sandwiches that we bought at 6 p.m. earlier today.
Yep.
And enjoy them for the next 24 hours. You're like, we don't even have a fridge in here. Okay, cool.
I definitely did get sick one year. Yeah.
Yeah. No, and I'm sure they were like, you really need to work through it. Yeah.
We need you here.
No, I'm going to be talking about a digital Black Friday sale, so don't worry. This will be from the comfort of your own home.
You needn't fight the crowds.
That's right.
We'll also be looking at some upcoming projects and a new trailer, and then just what we're into. A nice little holiday special. Are we going to talk about Thanksgiving? Not really.
No.
Not really, everybody. But you know what? That's all right. That's why we.
Ed, let's get the Thanksgiving talk out of the way just first, real quick. You don't want to do it, but let's just talk real quick about Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I'm going to tell you what we're doing for Thanksgiving this year.
Let's hear it.
So we're doing like this nice little family thing. Only it's just me, my wife, and my son. We rented a cabin in the mountains, and we're going to do our own just tiny little Thanksgiving. And last year, my wife cooked a lot of food, and it was great. But what we found out this year is Costco. I'm going to talk about another great deal, you guys. I've been doing a lot of like deal videos on my YouTube, like on my algorithm. I've been racking them up. So now I'm like in deals mode. But Costco is doing a deal right now where if you're looking for like, it says it feeds 7 to 8 people, and I saw it today, and it is really big. You can get the whole Thanksgiving meal. It's like a half of a turkey. It's a pretty huge turkey with dressing, mashed potatoes, green beans, cranberry sauce. I think we got it for like
all the trimmings.
Yeah, I think we got it for less than $40. I want to say like $32 to $38.
Oh shit!
It's priced per pound because there is this big piece of meat in there. But you just get this whole tray. You throw it in the fridge. You cook it up on Thanksgiving Day, and we're traveling, and we're going to do some things during the day, and then we're going to come back, and instead of like stressing, we're on vacation, baby. We're just going to throw that hoe in. It's going to be delicious. So I'm kind of looking forward to that. Yeah. So that's my pre-Thanksgiving talk. I'll let you know next week how it actually goes.
Oh, yeah. So wait, is it pre-cooked and you're reheating it, or is it like raw still?
The sides are cooked, but the turkey is raw. So you have to, You're throwing it all in the oven. I don't know. It's something you're doing in there. From what I saw in the video, they said the turkey is raw. You have to cook it, but I don't know. I didn't actually look into it.
Okay, well, half a turkey, half the time, right?
That's what I'm saying.
It'll be easy, yeah. And I mean, it's just 3 of you, right? Does Forrest like turkey?
No, he doesn't like anything. He's pretty basic. But what about you guys, real quick? What are you going to do? Well, I know you got a lot going on this week, but I'm more so if you were cooking a Thanksgiving meal, Ed, for you, Sarah and Lily.
Yeah,
what's your tiny little family Thanksgiving? Just the 3 of you.
Oh, I would go like way left field. I wouldn't do anything remotely traditional.
Go on.
I would try and do, I don't know. I mean, my heart tells me to go Italian. Just a fat ass lasagna. Maybe even a tour of Italy. Some like braised meatballs and stuff. I don't know. I'm already over turkey before turkey season begins. And if I have to eat it, I'll save it. I know I'm going to eat it on Thursday. We're going over to Sarah's family after we go see my mum, and I'm sure
even if you're not cooking on Thanksgiving, you're most likely going to get some of those traditional Thanksgiving.
Of course.
You know what I mean?
And you can't say no.
No,
it's all delicious. And previously in previous years we've been with Sarah's family, and they've actually done things like a beef tenderloin, or different cuts of steak. Mixing it up and then doing like usual trimmings like green bean casserole and mashed potatoes and gravy and stuff like that. And
I like that.
So
I know that Thanksgiving gets like that traditional meal, you know what I mean, complex. But I think something simple is just changing the protein. You know what I mean? You have a whole different experience. So I get it. I like playing around with it.
And there is always the ham option, but we've talked about this. Ham on this we don't podcast. Need to. But yeah, like at Christmas, like I like to mix it up with maybe like a rib roast. It's like rib roast season. I already have one in my freezer. So yeah, for everybody looking for a good rib roast deal, now is the time. But yeah, so I don't know. Like Thanksgiving is just such a, like Sarah's asking me like, do you want to go see your family or whatever? And I'm just like, no, I don't give a shit. Like,
yeah, you guys let us know down in the comments below. Do you like seeing your family for Thanksgiving?
It's more of just like Thanksgiving was not an important holiday to me growing up, so I do not care when it rolls around. Do I enjoy the time off? You betcha. You betcha. Do I enjoy eating the same exact meal I'm going to enjoy a month from now? It's tiresome. But and it's also just like a weird holiday in general, like historically speaking. So it's
well, it's pretty cut and dry for us Americans, Ed. So I don't know.
We give thanks. What's the to do?
I don't see the problem.
Yeah, you guys caught on quickly about the corn. Like for some reason, corn isn't a traditional dish at Thanksgiving anymore, but or the maize. But it just it's a gluttonous holiday.
It is, yeah,
and just undercut by Black Friday, but it tastes in my mouth.
I get that.
But on the plus sides, like this is the time of year that Sarah and I usually watch James Bond movies.
Oh, you're making me want to do a segue. It's this time of year. Yeah. What's the vibe on the entertainment front?
Like before we get into the Christmas.
Interesting.
But yeah, James Bond marathons is usually our bag. What about you?
I'll tell you what, man, it's that time of year. And I know you and Luis have been kind of talking about it, but I haven't said much, but it's that time of year, man. Lord of the Rings. I think it's coming.
Ooh,
man.
I like that.
That's a good, like just all 3 of them right now. Boom, boom, boom. This is also the great time for us in our house to start Harry Potter. We feel like, because it's a lot of movies and you don't necessarily want to, some people like to do them all, sure, back to back to back. But maybe like start spreading it out and kind of get a little bit of the Christmas season too.
I feel like people start watching Harry Potter movies from Halloween all the way through Christmas. Absolutely. That's Harry Potter season right there.
Can't go wrong.
there's something about like Philosopher's Stone and maybe Chamber of Secrets that feels somewhat more Christmassy. I
Mhm.
guess because they're
Yeah,
directed,
yeah.
yeah. But and then the other ones just get like fucking dark, and all the joy leaves them.
Right, right. And see, in Colorado, when the sky gets dark and gray, that'll be the season. You know what I mean? For when it's like, ooh, it's cold and
Yeah.
it's
Oh, better
depressing.
watch
Let
The
me.
Deathly Hallows.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah,
Um,
that's just a quick little chat for the group.
yeah,
Um,
little franchises for your holiday viewings.
let's
Lord of
talk
the Rings
about
is a
let's
good
talk
one.
about another franchise. Let's talk about within the MCU. Let's talk about some franchises.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've been talking about MCU a lot. We always do, in fact.
Yeah,
Um,
it's on the list. This is news from Luis, so he's not here tonight. We apologize, Luis.
but I think
But
yeah, so
he gets it.
yeah, we've just had the release of the Marvels, and every year for the last few years anyway, everybody's just like, God damn it, how many fucking Marvel movies are there going to be? How
Yeah.
much Marvel content is there going to be? Well,
Yeah.
today we have an answer. Next year, 2024, we can only expect,
How
as
many?
of now, one Marvel movie. And
Wow.
that is going to be Deadpool, which was originally slated for this month of this year. But obviously things got pushed back with the strikes.
Strike, yeah.
So um, during which time, just people, I don't know, getting hyped up for this movie with like right before the strikes. I feel like there were like leaks
Oh, we were
set.
getting all the
Yeah,
promos and
get to
everything.
see
Yeah.
Wolverine and his outfit and stuff like that. So, that's exciting. It's hard to say where Deadpool will place now that it's coming into the MCU and whether it'll feel like part
Mhm.
of that greater story or if it's just kind of going to be by itself like it has been. But yeah, this
Well,
is. I don't know about you, Miguel. I feel
go
like
on.
most people are feeling this though, but I feel like this is kind of maybe like a much needed breather.
Yes, for the
For
overall
us,
season, yes.
I think for us, and then also for the people over at Marvel who I think they need to just kind of reassess and
Absolutely.
replan their the next few years. The Marvel has made such a big name for itself, going from phase to phase and laying out the next 5 years or whatever, building to something magnificent. But it does seem to have lost its way a little bit, and
Yeah, we're in this kind of like marshy lands right now where it's like, how do I get out of here? When do I get
yeah,
back to the good stuff?
somebody
And
has been watching Lord of the Rings, the marshy lands.
but I tell you what, man, do you know anything about the rumored story for this Deadpool movie, or
Oh,
how it branches itself into the MCU at all?
oh no, not at all, not at all. No.
Okay. Well, I'll just say this: the multiverse angle is coming into play, and that it feels like every
Maybe it's
project
been
that
coming
comes out.
into
No,
play.
I know. Every project is like, ooh, we're teasing the multiverse, and it's like, okay, it feels like we're 8 deep now. Can we just do the multiverse now? But they're saying, I don't know if you remember Deadpool 2. He fucks with I guess because that one character can kind of time travel and he fucks with time just slightly to save his girlfriend. I'm pulling that out of my ass. Is that how Deadpool 2 goes?
I
There's
haven't
some
seen it.
there's some element to that. And
Yeah.
so they're indicating, or I guess the rumor is that the TVA from Loki, oh, look at
Yeah.
you, is going to capture Deadpool for his like messing with the timelines. And then that's how they're going to bring that kind of whole Deadpool X-Men franchise into the fold.
Interesting.
Yeah. And something I was talking about with Luis last week is that we've seen 3 different X-Men iterations in the Marvel MCU so far, and they're all the 90s X-Men cartoon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Xavier, Beast recently in Marvel's,
Spoiler.
and oops. And also in Deadpool, we've seen the promo photos where Wolverine's wearing that blue and yellow spandex, and it looks very similar to the X-Men 90s cartoon. So that's
Yeah.
that's my that's my assumption or whatever.
So they're sticking to that aesthetic, you think?
Yeah, I was saying like since they're rebooting that cartoon show, I was saying this last week, since they're rebooting the cartoon and like maybe that's Disney's Disneyfication of the X-Men is like
And
that's
merging the
how
two.
yeah, and that's how they make that the you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
interesting.
The Disney mutants.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, if there was anything that they were going to do upcoming, it would be like that I could get excited for. It's the X Men. And but
Well,
somebody made a good point that for ever since Endgame,
mhm.
we have been getting introduced to character after character after character, and so far, for the most part, obviously we've just had the Marvels, we've had some other things, but for the most part, none of these characters have crossed paths.
Oh.
There isn't this gradual building of momentum
Mhm.
of connection or anything like that. Everything feels so kind of separated and kind
Yeah.
of going on its own course that you're wondering, it's first off, it's a lot to keep up with, and everybody keeps talking about superhero fatigue, and it's almost more just kind of like a content fatigue. I think the
Mhm.
moment they started doing shows, and we've talked about this, but the moment they started doing shows, started beating people to death. We went from like one movie every year to three, maybe even
Mhm.
four. And
Plus
when
now
when those
TV shows.
movies are supposed to be categorically like an event movie,
Mhm.
you're kind of taking that power away by releasing them so many times a year. People stop caring naturally, and then furthermore, it comes down to quality. And when you're pushing out that much content, that many movies, and you're spreading thin so many cast and crews, that's going to be exhausting too. You're going to get pushback, which we've obviously seen with like the visual effects side of Marvel and all of that. But also, people will go to the movies for superheroes, but they want to go to the movies for good superhero movies. You know
That they believe are going to be good. You know what I
that
mean?
they know are going to be
Yeah.
good, not just like another
Just to do it.
product, another
Yeah.
product,
Mhm.
another character, maybe to care about, maybe not. It's a flip of a coin every time. But like, there have been some great introductions. Like we've seen Shang Chi. I guess, and it kind of just goes on what you felt towards the movie itself or show. But like Marvel, She-Hulk. But yet, once their show or movie came out, we haven't
Mhm.
seen anything else of them.
That's right.
And these are the characters that are eventually going to be the Avengers again.
Mhm.
Presumably. So you're just kind of getting lost, and you forget about certain characters to a point where you're just going to be like, oh yeah, great.
Well, I mean, that's what's crazy is like you think about these actors that sign on for these roles, and there was a time when you signed on for a Marvel movie, and you were like, "Well, I'm about to be seen." You know what I mean? Like this is going to be like a really big boost.
A boost, yeah,
This
yeah.
I feel very passionate about this character or me doing this character, and now it's just like, well, yeah, just add them to the list
hundred
of other
percent.
characters that I could watch, I guess.
But
Uh,
you don't feel like they're excited for it either.
no.
I mean, there are some people who, like, we were talking about Mahershala Ali the other day,
Mm-hmm.
or last week, I think it was, about the whole Blade thing. Like,
Yeah.
you've got these great A-lister actors who are coming to you,
Like, how are you going to fumble
like,
that bag so hard?
being fumble that and, just squander that opportunity. Like, to not only with that actor, but someone who's trying to work with you in order to create a great product. You would assume, but they just, yeah, they didn't know what to do with it. The Eternals, I like the Eternals, but I mean, a lot of people feel like that one was dead in the water. Like, there's not going to be a sequel. We're never going to see the Eternals again. We're never going to see a reference to that giant celestial at the tip of Earth's crust.
Man,
Like, and what a cool setup. I thought, it's a shame. But yeah, so it's an interesting place. But all that to say is 2024 seems to be like the breather year. We get a
We'll
bit of
take
Ryan
it.
Reynolds, we get a bit of
Yeah.
Hugh Jackman playing around, and maybe that's the reset we'll need. I don't know.
And you know
Luis,
what? You think
I
about
hope we
it
talk to this.
from a studio aspect, you're putting out one movie. You know what I mean? Imagine if Marvel only put out Guardians of the Galaxy this year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that was a big hit. And it had longevity, you know what I mean? Because for a while it was like the only thing superhero movie you could go see. It was one of the first things from this last summer.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, well, if this is the only content you're gonna get, maybe that'll drive audiences.
Yeah, one of the few with the kind of like the name recognition. Like the Guardians has had a unique lifespan of being the one that nobody asked for.
And then it became big, and it kind of like snowballed.
Massive in the MCU.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
the one that people who didn't care for the MCU, that is the one movie that they liked. They were just like, oh yeah, it's a fun movie. It's fun.
So then Deadpool could be the exact same thing,
maybe
for next year. Yeah.
So, Luis, I hope we talked that to death for you.
There's 25 minutes of that. Hey, good job, audience. Thanks for sticking in. We got more to talk about.
Yeah. We're talking about restructuring the MCU. But how do you feel about remastering, Miguel?
Oh, I like that. What do you mean remaster, Ed? In what context?
The Last of Us. In our notes, Toulouse.
Okay, I'll take over.
Yeah.
So, Ed, I don't know if you saw the news, but me and Luis were talking about this just personally. We were talking about The Last of Us Part 2.
Yeah.
Okay. A game that
lean out of frame, but I'm still here.
Whatever you're doing, bud. Last of Us Part 2, that came out in 2020. A few years back, and it's getting a remaster. It came out originally for the PS4. It's getting a PlayStation 5 remaster. Something that Luis and I were talking about, again, personally, just like through our text, was that The Last of Us, the original game, it had a couple of remasters. It came out originally on the PS3. It was remastered for the PS4. And it just recently, earlier this year, came out with a $70 remaster for the PlayStation 5. Now, one of the things Luis and I were talking about is Luis already bought The Last of Us Part 2. And he hasn't played it yet, but when he does play it, he's saying, I don't want to upgrade to the new model because I already bought this one.
Yeah.
So if you, Ed Ball, bought a PlayStation 5 today and then decided whenever it comes on sale, I don't have it in front of me, decided you want to buy Last of Us Part 2, the remastered version, you would pay the $70 price point. But because Luis has already bought it for the PS4, I've already bought it for the PS4, we can each get upgrades to the PS5 edition for only $10. And one of the things we were kind of having a back and forth was price. I don't need to buy this. I tell you what, though, for a $10 upgrade, this is totally worth it, in my opinion. Okay. So I know you don't play a lot of video games, and you haven't really played The Last of Us at all.
I have.
You've seen the TV show.
Yes.
There you go. One thing I was trying to tell Luis was I played Last of Us on PlayStation 3, and then I bought the PlayStation 4 remaster, or I got it as I can't remember how, but I got the PS4 remaster, and it was a noticeable difference from generation to generation. And it was only a year or two later that they came out with it. So that's kind of what I'm basing my decision on for this remaster was, a few years ago, Last of Us Part 2 came out and it looked really good on the PlayStation 4. It was like one of those, last gen games, but it was late in the generation. So it used up as much of the PlayStation power as it possibly could to make that game. Yeah. And the PlayStation 5 is much stronger. You know what I mean? It's better than the PlayStation 4. So they can then take it that next level and kind of just seamlessly bring it into this generation. And I think it's absolutely worth it. It's coming out. Oh, I don't have it in front of me. I saw today that it's coming out with a few different settings. You're getting this is off the top of my head, so correct me in the comments, but you're getting like an upgraded difficulty level. One of the things Last of Us has done is it as far as like skill level, you can play the game on like the friendliest level, the easiest one, and you can go up to the hardest one. And past the hard one is like permadeath, which is like you play the entire game, and if you die once, it starts you all the way over at the beginning. Well, this, which is a very popular version to play that game. This one's coming out with apparently an even harder version of that. You're getting, I think it said 2 or 3 different levels that were not in the original game. They're adding to this version of the game, so you get bonus content to play with. Oh, what was the other thing? Oh, okay, Ed, Luis.
Okay.
Luis, I want to mark it real quick. Mark it. This is a spoiler. This is a spoiler for Last of Us Part 2, and Luis hasn't played it yet, okay? So one of the things, Ed, that you can do in Last of Us Part 2 is you can play the guitar. I think I might have mentioned this to him a couple times, actually. You can play the guitar with the controller.
Okay.
Hang on, stay with me, Ed. Stay with me.
With you.
And
The Last of Guitar Hero, what?
Yes. No, you're being cheeky, but no, it's a very personal, heartwarming thing that she learns to play the guitar because Joel teaches her how to play the guitar. So every now and then throughout the story, she'll find a guitar and she'll kind of strum it for a little bit. And the first time you do it, you're like, oh, that's sweet. And then they do it again later in the game, and you're like, okay, I guess I'll do it again. But then if you even think about replaying that game, you're like, I don't fucking want to touch this guitar again. I just want to barrel through. I'm trying to do things. I don't need to have this like moment every time I play. In the new upgraded version, Ed, you can skip the guitar levels. Okay. So I don't want to tell Luis that. All right. I want him to play the levels first, but I want him to know that afterwards he can skip those levels, which I think is solid. As someone who's replayed that game a couple times. It is nice.
I thought
to
that
be able
was
to
going to be like a dramatic twist, like she breaks the guitar over somebody's head, and out comes a gun from the guitar. But
she cocks the thing, and and when she strums, like it fires.
Desperado thing going on.
Yeah, man. No. That's not that type of game.
No, it's just sentimental. Okay, cool. Well, spoilers. I'm just messing with you. Well, so when does this remastered version come out, or is it already out?
Fuck, I don't have that in front of me.
Luis is so much, but I was hoping you had it.
Luis is so much better about that than I am. No, it is not out yet. It will be coming out soon because they've announced it. So I assume sometime in the Christmas season or early next year.
It would be stupid not to release it for Christmas, right?
Come on. But I will be upgrading this $10 upgrade. I will do that.
I was going to say, I feel like the one situation where I feel that would be justified is, first off, like, it's a game that you are going to play again. You know, obviously, for obvious reasons, but, like, why would you upgrade otherwise? But, you know, it's especially like a story-heavy mode game like that. You know, if you're going to play it again, sure. If you think that the upgrade like betters the experience like that much, so even on the same console, like if it's like completely different, I don't know. But I don't know how these remasters usually go, if it's just kind of tweaking the effects, right? Kind of a look at things.
It can, yeah. So it like,
because I was looking at a remastered comparison of Spider-Man.
Oh, okay, Ed. Go ahead. Yeah, you tell me what you learned about. You tell me what you learned about that remaster. I'm curious.
I learned fuck all, but I just saw a picture where
the picture of who? Of who?
It was Peter Parker, Miles Morales, and what's her name?
Oh my god,
Mary Jane.
That's right. You saw that on Reddit today. That's where I saw it too. But no, I'm curious. That was. I thought you were going to talk about the original face model for Spider-Man in the original version. They changed his face altogether. So in the picture you saw today, it was like 3 kind of similar versions, that like pointy-chinned Peter Parker. In the original Spider-Man, his face was a little more square and pulled back. There was a bit of a back and forth when they decided to change the face. So I was curious if you had thoughts on that, but you just saw the new one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. So
sometimes the remaster
is it just subtle? Like, is it
not always?
I would only want to do it like, if it was only $10, like I wouldn't want to pay $70. I mean, let me tell you the average price of the game right now, but
No, and that's the thing though. So if you can just upgrade for $10, that's a no-brainer for me. You're gonna want to do that. Now, especially Luis, because Luis played The Last of Us PS5 remaster. So I played Last of Us Part 3, sorry, on the PS3. I then played Last of Us the remaster for the PS4, and that's the last version I got of that game. He got the PS5 upgrade, so he didn't even play PlayStation 3 or 4 version. The PlayStation 4 version of Last of Us is not the same version controller wise as the Last of Us Part 1 remaster for the PlayStation 5. I know I just kind of because the PlayStation 5 controller is so different than the PlayStation 4 controller that the way you interact with the world through the controller is so different that it's worth that upgrade. You know what I'm saying? Especially a game where there's a lot of bow and arrows, where there's a lot of, I got to pull the trigger. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Do you have a PlayStation 5? Are you going to play the game? Let us know in the comments below. Let's move on.
Do it. Miguel, as the unholiest of days is coming up. Black Friday.
Thanksgiving.
Just coming up. 3 days away. And you have some digital sales for us.
Okay, we were talking Last of Us. It's a PlayStation exclusive, so I'm going to come into you hot with a PlayStation Black Friday sale. Now, the PlayStation Black Friday sale, it's going on now. Okay, you can hop on to your PlayStation account and you can see all these sales for yourself. I'm not going to talk about every single game on this sale. It is pretty extensive.
Thank God. Yes.
I know. And I do have a list here, but I tried to kind of pick the games that if I didn't want to pay the full price, I'm looking at the sales price now going, I could maybe do that. Especially if I was just in the market for like 1 or 2 games. But I'm going to run down a list for you. So Ed, stay engaged.
Just real quick, they announced this today. Like, people can look this up if they want to.
No, the sale's already started. It's been going on. And again, it is a digital sale. It is not like they're going to run out of copies of this digital game. It's just, and I've had a PlayStation and an Xbox. I think there are merits to both of them. I do think a PlayStation sale is usually the best sale. So if you are in the market for a game and a sale has just happened and you missed it, hold out. Okay. Don't buy it at full price because PlayStation does like a good 3 sales a year and it's totally worth it. Ed's making fun of me right now, but I'm being serious.
I'm not. I'm actually still laughing about Guess My Fart.
Shut the fuck.
Like, I feel like that's a game that we should play on this podcast.
Thank you. Thank you. I think so too.
Louise, okay, well, take note, producer, make it happen. Anyway, well, Ed, I'm sorry. I am listening to you.
Please try to pay attention.
I'm just like, all right, Miguel's got it.
If you hear any, farts,
allow me to giggle to myself. No, one thing I did want to say though was like, you said the sale is already going on. I mean, I do rather enjoy this whole new thing of just like, let's just start those Black Friday sales
immediately, as soon as you can. You know what I
mean? Why make it a death match on the day?
Exactly. Exactly. So if you can, just go ahead and get it going. Let's get it going,
Yeah.
And like I said, I think PlayStation has some of the best sales. When you're thinking about buying the game at full price, I always think, well, I could hold out for a little longer. And there's usually a pretty good sale. And so with that in mind, I've made this list of some games that I think are, if you're interested, you haven't bought them yet, or you haven't played them yet, this is a kind of a good time to get some of these games. Okay.
I'm saying like a handful that I personally would pick, but
that's kind of my idea. I made this list going, well, what would Miguel want to play? What would Luis want to play? And if Ed had a PlayStation, what could I sell him on? You know what I mean?
Yeah. No. Sorry, I keep interrupting. So go ahead.
That's okay. So Luis revealed recently in an episode or 2 ago that he has never played Grand Theft Auto 5. And that blew my mind. Well, I wanted him to know that he could get Grand Theft Auto 5 on sale right now for $19.99. That seems like a high price point for a game that's been out for over 10 years and 3 generations. But they normally sell it for $60.
And that's the most current version. I would
Yes.
assume.
Yeah. So you can just, if you wanted to play it, get it now. $20. I don't think that's a bad price point, and that's coming from someone that's bought the game 3 times.
Not at all. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm gonna just run through this list. A couple of the games that came to mind when I was seeing this list. The Black Friday sales. Assassin's Creed. Ed, you ever played those games?
No.
Moving on.
Oh, wait.
No.
I played that pirate one with you.
The pirate one, and the pirate one's really good, and it's
That was
usually
a lot
on
of fun.
sale.
I really did enjoy that, actually. And now that I'm realizing what AC means, I was just like, oh, good, like a heavy metal game
No.
or some shit like that.
My first one is it's a HVAC walkthrough. It's called AC Valhalla. That cool crisp AC. No, I'm talking Assassin's Creed. You guys, Valhalla is not the most recent Assassin's Creed game. It came out a couple years ago. It's a pretty popular one. It's normally on sale. It's normally priced at the $60 to $70 price point, and that's like the base version. Digital and upgrades and all of that can get you $10 to $15 higher. You can get Assassin's Creed Valhalla right now for $19.99, and if you want to get the upgraded Ragnarok edition, which includes the DLC, it's like the complete edition of the game. You can get it for only $24.99, only a few bucks more. So this is kind of a good price point if you're looking to get Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Okay, and I worked really hard on this list.
No,
okay?
I'm glad you did. I'm like, what's happening is that in real time,
You're reading my notes.
I'm figuring out what these notes mean.
Yeah,
and I just want the audience to know that Miguel's abbreviation of Assassin's Creed Ragnarok, which Ragnarok, Miguel has Raggy.
Raggy. Okay, I didn't have time to type it all out.
Hey, babe, you want some Raggy?
I'm a busy man. Okay,
sorry. Carry on.
I'm going to talk about another Assassin's Creed game, Ed. This is the one that I would recommend for you. If you were playing on a PlayStation 5, you could get Assassin's Creed today. You could get Assassin's Creed Origins for $13.99. This was not. Don't talk down to me, Ed. I'm going to tell you why this is a big deal. Okay, so
I'm trying to boost you up.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. I missed Louis.
What a deal! That is a deal. Out of all of the prices here, that is the cheapest, or one of them.
It is one of them. So, Ed, you mentioned the pirate game, Assassin's Creed Black Flag. This was regarded as like the Assassin's Creed game that kind of rivaled Black Flag. It brought in a certain mechanics that just really work. It kind of reinvigorated the franchise. This is a solid, like, soft reboot of the franchise that I would jump in on immediately. Okay, this is the very next one was set in Greece, and so it had that kind of like Grecian tone to it. I didn't like that one as much. I think Origins is solid as far as an Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah,
and you can get it for $13.99. You got to do it. If you haven't played The Witcher 3, oh, by the way, these are games that are massively popular. One of the other things that the reasons I made this list was like, these are super big games that if you haven't played them and you're looking for a price point to just get in and finally get them, these are them. Okay. So if you're like, of course I've played The Witcher 3, skip ahead. You can get The Witcher 3 for $11.99 for the standard edition, or you can get the complete edition of Witcher 3 for only $14.99. These are solid price points to play these games. These are like grade A, top tier, like game of the year type ass games that people want to play. Okay, like well regarded games, and you can get it for $11.99. If you've never played it and you're like, I don't even know if I like it, this is the price point to get it. Okay,
sure. Like if you want to dip your toes.
Exactly. This is it.
I'm sure Henry Cavill is over the moon right now.
He's like, buy my game. Speaking of games that you might not really want to play, you're curious to play them, but you don't have Game Pass. Okay. This is a game that just recently came on Game Pass, which I waited until it did so that I could play it for free. But if you don't have Game Pass and you're interested in playing this game, this is a wonderful price point to get in. This is WB Montreal's Gotham Knights. Ed, are you familiar with this game?
I am.
Thank you.
I never played this one, though.
No, and I hadn't either. And like I said, I only downloaded it recently because it was on the Game Pass. But for the sale right now, if you wanted to purchase this game outright, never have to worry about it getting taken off, you can get it for $13.99. That's a solid price point for a game that was not well liked. Okay, but it's one that you think would be fun to play. It's got like a hint of the Arkham gameplay in it, but it's just not quite that. $13.99 is a solid price point to get in. It's originally $60. Cut that price all the way down. This is the time to get in for it. Okay. I tried to buy it actually, Ed. I already have it downloaded through the Game Pass, and the PlayStation wouldn't let me because they were like, "Well, you already have it." But once they take it, like Netflix, once the movie's off Netflix, you can't watch it on Netflix anymore.
You're just like, I'm trying to give you money, you asshole.
I'm trying to just buy this game because it's a game that I've played enough that I'm like, I could maybe keep playing it. And for $13.99, because the moment they take it off Game Pass, it's going to go right back up to $60, and it's going to be like, well, I don't want to pay $60 to play this game. I want to pay $13.99.
Absolutely.
I've got a game that I put on this list here, Ed, and we're halfway through. Stay with me, Ed. I promise.
I'm here. I'm just reading. I'm reading the list as we go.
I got a game on here that the only reason I put this on here is because it was originally an Xbox exclusive, okay? And it was a game that I really wanted to play, and Luis got to play, but I didn't get to, okay? It's a game called High on Life.
Oh, okay.
You might remember this, Ed. This is the game from the Rick and Morty guy, his game studios.
Dan Harmon?
No, the other one, the bad one.
Yeah.
The one who plays Morty. And,
I got it. Understood. And Rick.
This is his game studio. And so it's a game that is not set in the Rick and Morty universe, but it's that sensibility. It's very, I think you should watch a trailer for it afterwards. It's super silly. It looks like a lot of fun. It's one that I want to play, but it was only on Xbox, and I'm pretty sure it went to Xbox, their Game Pass, which means you could just play it for free. So when it finally got pushed over to the PlayStation 5, I was like, great, it's going to be on the Game Pass. I'm going to play it. I'm going to love to try this game out. It came out for $60 on the PlayStation, and I thought that was incredibly too much money to pay for this game. It is on sale now, and while I do want to play this game... There it is. While I do want to play this game, I definitely want to play it on sale. And I don't really want to spend this price point. You can get it for $25.99. I think we can get that into the sub $15 range. Okay.
Tune in next year.
So fingers crossed. I'm going to hold out on this one. I want to play it, but I'm not going to pay $25 to play
it. That's cool, though. I like that they're branching out.
I will say there is a game that I'm not going to play because I'm not a big sports game player. Okay. Other than like FIFA, every now and then I play FIFA. Okay. Ed, you can get NBA 2K24. Sorry, I don't know why I said that. In 2K24, yes. No, it's not like an old ass person right
2000.
Now. Yes, 2000. In the year of our Lord 2K24.
It sounds like a conspiracy theory.
It does, yeah. Ed, the basketball game. Okay, you can get the Kobe Bryant edition. For $26.99 right now. It's originally like $80. So I think if you are a fan of this game, this is the price point to get it. $26.99.
If you'll indulge me, Miguel, I could sum up my thoughts on that game in a single anecdote.
Go on, Ed.
Sarah and I were laying in bed recently, and I was just kind of doing my own thing on my phone, and she was doing her thing on her phone, and I guess she wanted to start a conversation, and she was on Instagram, and she was like, oh, Shaquille O'Neal's daughter is going to Florida State something fucking. And I was just like, those are three things that I do not care about.
Oh, no.
To sum it up. I just like, basketball is just one of those sports. Yeah. So that's how much I care about that game. But
so not for you. I won't push it.
About it. It was a good laugh between Sarah and I.
So. Well, ask her if she wanted to play that game, if she would rather pay $80 or $26.99, and see what she says. Okay.
Ooh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
moving on. Ed, I tell you what, man, I got a list. This is my final list here for the black.
Yeah, do it.
I almost said the Black Station, the PlayStation.
All right.
I just was. Oops. All right. So this is the last category for the Black Friday sale that I just put work into. Okay.
Do it.
Like I said, you guys can go onto the Sony PlayStation Store right now and see every single sale that they have going on, and you can get what's right for you. These are games, Ed, that are under $20. Okay.
Yeah.
And I didn't write down the specific price point of each of these because I said, if you want any of these games under $20, this is it. Okay. They're not going to get much lower than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you'll see what I'm giggling at in a minute. I'll let you go through it.
I can't wait. Okay. So Spider-Man 1, Luis and I have been talking about Insomniac Spider-Man 2 for the last 4 weeks, right? It's I can't believe how long we've been talking about that game. You can get the original Spider-Man 1 for under $20. You can also get the companion game Miles Morales for under $20. If you don't have Game Pass and you want to own these games, this is the price point to do it. Okay. I talked about God of War Ragnarok earlier this year. Raggy. You can get the original God of War. Sorry. That's me fucking thumbs up my own ass. You can get the original God of War 2018 of this, reboot, for under $20. Horizon Zero Dawn, under $20. That's that robot dinosaur game, Ed. Do you remember that where you would fight the robot dinosaurs?
I don't, but yes.
With a bow and arrow. Solid game, under $20. Ed and Luis, Red Dead Redemption 2, under $20.
That's great.
Now, I bought this.
This is what I was laughing at. This is a game I would definitely get.
Okay. Yes, you fucking would.
Yeah, I would.
I bought this game.
Grand Theft Auto and Red Dead, I feel like go hand in hand.
Those are for you, bud. They're made by the same. They're made by the same studio. Red Dead Redemption 2. I bought this full price when it came out. Okay, on launch, I was so excited for this game, and it was one of the best games I've ever played. Just hands down. That's my own personal opinion. The internet seems to agree with me on that. Have your own take at it, and you can do that for under $20 right now. This is like an 80-hour game. Okay, this is like one of the first like over 100 gigabyte games I've ever downloaded. I didn't know they could do that. And you can get it for $20. It's like one of the games of a generation. $19.99 or less.
That's great. That's what I was laughing at, by the way. I thought you had misspelled R2D2.
No, you idiot.
Yeah.
No.
In that scenario, you would have been the idiot.
You know, you talking about R2D2, there are some Star Wars games on sale that I did not put on this list, which I'm just now realizing that would fit.
That's okay.
But just so you know, there's several Star Wars games on sale right now.
Yeah.
I want to talk about a couple of the cheapest games that I saw that I would play, and then I'm done.
Thank God.
I know. Ed, have you ever heard of the BioShock games?
Of course, yes.
Yeah, so there's a collection. It's BioShock 1, 2, and 3. You can get the bundle right now. It was on sale. It's usually on sale, this collection. I was just noticing it this time. I don't have it. It's $9.99, sub $10 for 3 really solid games. Okay, BioShock like is a franchise now.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it's
I
definitely
always liked the idea of it, but I guess it always seemed a little too scary.
It's scary. It is. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, but it is a lot of fun, and you can get all 3 games for $9.99. If you're someone, you know what I mean, like me, who's like, well, I'm going to hold out until I can get a really good deal. This is the deal if you haven't played that game.
I mean, that's pretty great.
The last one, and now I put these last 2 deals because they're under $10, and it's like, it's basically free at that point, okay? That's boy math. You can get one other game. This was a popular franchise that just I every time I hear about it online, it seems like it's got a really big cult following, but also was not very popular or it wasn't a big success. Okay. But you can get Titanfall 2 on sale right now, Ed, for less than $5, $4.99. If that is a game that you're even just thinking about getting, that is a price point you want. You hear me, everyone. This is the whole list that I made.
That's not one I would have been excited for, but
I get that. But I'm saying if you were
right.
$4.99, come on. You You can't
That's
even get
like
a
a
foot
big-
long sub anymore for that price.
That's true. That's true. You could get a. Yeah.
We'll wait until Ed can come up with something that you can't buy for $5.
$5 on the dot. Like a Popeye's chicken sandwich.
That's more than $5. Yeah.
I think it's like what, $4.99 these days.
Is it?
Yeah.
Let us know in the comments below.
Unless you add bacon and cheese. Also, Miguel does live in Colorado. It's more expensive.
It is. Well, I don't. Okay, first off, Coloradans,
I don't know that for a fact.
We don't eat Popeyes, okay? Because they're not around.
Really?
The closest Popeyes to me is in the mall, and it's like 10 or 15. No, I don't live in that state. It's 10 minutes away from me, but then you have to park in this big ass parking lot. You have to walk into the food court, which is like in the center of the mall, and then you have to order Popeyes. So we never get it. It's not happening.
Fair enough.
But in Colorado, things are more expensive. So yeah, I assume that sandwich is like $7.
$4.99.
Let's find out.
All right.
You guys, thank you so. Oh my God, whoa, what a whirlwind. Okay, I hope you guys.
What a great episode! Thanks for joining us.
Yeah. Oops, I talked a lot, but I was really excited about this sale. Okay,
that was insightful, and there are actually some solid, at least like I said, there are games that I would even go for.
Thank you.
For that price, it would be like the price of a game on regular terms. If that makes sense, you know what I mean?
You're saying when you bought your very first video game, you know what I mean? This is a price point where you would buy video games and feel comfortable?
No, not at all. I'm saying
we live in 2023.
If you buy 3 or 4 of these games at this price, it equates to a regular price game.
Oh, I see. Dude, that's my last point I'm going to say about this because you just made me think about it. I was looking at my cart today. I was thinking about getting Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was thinking about getting BioShock the collection, and then I was going to get Titanfall because again, both those last games are under $10. I looked at my total before the sale; it was like $138 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then they take the discount off, and it came down to $38. And it's that's not even the price of a regular game these days. And I can get Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Oh my God, the deal. Probably the best sale I've ever gotten in my whatever journey thus far was last year. When Far Cry 6 came out, I waited a month and I got Far Cry 3, 4, 5, and 6 brand new for $60, which was $10 less than Far Cry 6's base game.
Wow.
No, wow. I know. $60 for 4 games. And 3 of those games were top of the franchise. And it's I
said it's good. What do you want, man?
Sorry, my bad.
Far Cry is the one with Keanu Reeves?
No.
Okay.
No.
What am I thinking of?
Cyberpunk?
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
All of these,
got it.
Weird names that you gamers have. I was just thinking, it brought to mind, this is what I get excited about. I appreciate it because I get excited about, the Criterion collection sale that happens routinely every year through either Barnes & Noble or the Criterion channel itself, where they just do half off. And they are expensive, Criterion, but it's 50% off of everything. Sometimes it's a 24-hour rush sale. While supplies last.
I don't like that.
It pops up every now and again, and thanks.
You got to be
Reddit,
ready to go.
Yeah. You have backups. I have an ongoing list wherever I feel the impulse to get a Criterion movie. I'm at the ready. So if I can't get one, I can get the other kind of deal. But no, I mean it's a pretty great deal, and there's a reason why it's so special. It's a lot of bonus features. You got all that remastered films, and then you usually comes with some sort of reading material,
like a case or something,
like a package, and a nice case. Of course, you've got the artwork and all of that. But yeah, you've got. I've got a few. I've got 8. It's a lot.
It's funny. The visual just now was great. I'm going to show you that later. That's just one half of your collection. That wasn't even the one you were looking at. But
Right,
You
the
were just
criteria
like,
is
hang on, I've got this amount right over here.
right up here, Luis. YouTube.com right here. So yeah, I should have turned on the light back there. That would make it.
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Sit down. Sit down.
All right.
But you appreciate a good sale. Let's move on.
Yeah, my point with all of that was I appreciate a good sale. We get excited for different things, but I see why you're getting excited. So you know what we've got coming soon, Miguel?
Yeah.
One of my favorite directors right now is Robert Eggers. You know him.
Yeah.
He's the director of The Witch, The Lighthouse, and The Northman, and all movies that I love. Miguel, you've seen The Witch, I know, because we all saw it together, me, you, and Kristen.
I swear, I've seen it.
Yeah, and but did you see The Northman or
no?
The Lighthouse?
No, but I want to see them.
They're good. I love them. I think he's really great. So one of his passion projects has been a remake of Nosferatu. The
Vampire.
I assume you're the vampire. Yep. Mm-hmm. You're familiar. And yeah, so we got like our first look, and that's the only reason why I brought it up. It's not a trailer or anything, but it's coming out next year. And it's got starring Lily Rose Depp, Bill Skarsgård, the one from It.
Mm-hmm.
So you know he's going to be the clown, now the vampire. And who else? Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Your boy.
Which is he the... We've talked about that. Like, I don't like him, right? We've said that. Sorry, Aaron, if you're listening. Like, you're all right, man. You were my favorite part about Bullet Train.
I just like that you didn't understand the context of me saying, your boy, right? The guy, wink, wink. And you were like, I don't like him.
I wasn't looking at the screen, so what was your... more of
the tone in my voice. I know you only have one video, but I thought maybe you picked it up.
No, Miguel, I'm tone deaf. That's why I can't.
Got it.
Yeah. Because he's British? I don't get it.
No, because you don't like him. Just shut up, man. Just keep moving on. Just keep moving on.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Miguel, we've talked about this. Don't accuse me of things.
Because you will not.
I will not comply. I will not play along.
It's your boy.
I'll be damned if he is.
That man is not my boy.
It sure as fuck won't be my James Bond. Hashtag not my Bond.
He's not invited. Not my Bond.
Oh man. Anyway, on Luis's favorite, Nicholas Hoult is also in this movie. But anyway,
no, he's not. No.
Yeah, he is.
No.
You know, that's funny though. We should actually just really quickly mention that Nicholas Hoult is going to be Lex Luthor.
Isn't that fucking wild, dude?
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, that poor kid.
What do you think of that, real quick?
Okay, I was the only one on this podcast that was like, I could see him being Batman, and then I was like, I could see him being Superman. And so then when it was like, he's Lex Luthor, I was like, well, fuck, at least he got something.
Can I tell you what it is about both of those things?
Oh, here we go.
I think it's his jaw.
I get it. It's
too pointy. It's too pointy.
Well, I think Batman would have worked. I think Batman would have worked. I think Superman would have worked too. You would have gone for just a different cut of his jib. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like, ooh, I can cut myself on that thing.
I don't know.
Instead of break my fist on it. Anyway, yeah, we like Nicholas Hoult. But yeah, do you think how do you feel about that? Like previously, that character's been played by Jesse Eisenberg, Kevin Spacey, and Gene Hackman.
I never saw the Gene Hackman. I didn't ever watch the Christopher Reeve Superman movie, so we should probably do that. I should probably do that, right? Okay,
I want to watch the first one at least.
Okay. I could commit to one easily. You and me, not for the podcast, for just us.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah, we're gonna do it. But Kevin Spacey was good as Lex Luthor, though. I thought that was like a pretty decent casting.
The first time, that was my first Lex Luthor, if you will.
Yeah. Now, I like Chili's. I like Buffalo Wild Wings. Okay. And then I go and I have like nice food, and I'm like, oh, that's good. But you know what I mean? It's like tomorrow I'm going to be at Chili's, and then the next day I'm going to be back at Buffalo Wild Wings. So my opinion is hold me in low regard when it comes to shit like, what's good and what's bad. Okay. I kind of like Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Okay. They made a choice, and he just did that,
Yeah.
And it was like, they were like, well, this is what we're doing with it. And people were like, I don't like it. I'm like, yeah, I get that. But hey, you remember Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor.
You do.
It's not like a forgettable performance.
I don't feel strongly either which way. Like, he wasn't my biggest problem with those movies, kind of thing,
Wow. What was your...
Just said you didn't like him.
No, I like him fine, but I just didn't think he was... I don't think there was something worse than Jesse Eisenberg. That's what I'm saying. I like him. Him. But I thought he was the worst thing about those movies. Maybe
Jesus
you think
Christ. Jesus. That is not what I got from your opening.
No, I know. What we've learned recently is, our tones don't always connect, but that's okay.
No. Yeah, hang on, it? You did genuinely like it, or you just fucking with me the whole time?
No, you don't know. You don't know.
No, I really did.
I liked that the choice that they made with Jesse Eisenberg and what he did with the role.
You're just trying to be polite.
But I don't think it's great for the character. But I think it worked for what they were doing. And again, I commend someone for being like, I committed to this and I did it. You know what I mean?
I'll just say I didn't like it.
That's fine.
I'll sum it up like that. The definitive Lex Luthor has not presented themselves to me. I don't know if you ever watched Clark, The Adventures of Clark and Lois, or Superman and Lois, or Superman, The Adventures of Clark and Lois.
Okay, there was a lot of Lois and Clark things, and there was also a lot of TV Superman.
The one in the 90s with...
Dean Cain? Is that Dean Cain?
Yeah, Dean Cain and Terry Hatcher.
Shout out John Mulaney. I don't remember who... Oh...
Terry Hatcher was Lois Lane.
No, I remember that. I just had a glimpse of Lex Luthor... The guy with the wrinkles in his forehead.
And he started, he has curly hair at the beginning. They all have wrinkles in their head. What are you trying to...
No, but I know who I'm talking about. Who are you talking about? No,
every bald man ever.
No, the character that I thought you were going to mention, or the guy, was Michael Rosenthal, or Rosenbaum. From the... Oh my God. That Superman show... That Superman show where Tom Weller, whatever, was Superman, and he wasn't actually Superman for the entire show. It was like when he was in high school.
Yes.
On WB or whatever. That's who I thought you were talking about. Okay. Whoever that Lex Luthor was.
Yes, I do know who you're talking about.
There's segments of our podcast where it's like, I'm not talking to general audiences. I'm talking about the people that know what we're talking about.
Right.
That can speak our language.
But that's Smallville. That's Smallville.
Smallville. Thank you. Someone was shouting that at us just now.
Yeah, Smallville. No, I'm talking about the Adventures of Clark and Lois from the 90s.
I remember that. I remember that one.
Yeah. Had a huge crush on Terry Hatcher.
Dean Cain. Yeah.
But yeah, I can't remember that Lex Luthor's name anyway. So fuck it. Nicholas Hoult will be Lex Luthor in James Gunn's Superman. And Nosferatu is coming out next year from Robert Eggers. Super excited for it. Miguel, what's next on our docket?
What an episode. What an episode we're having. You know what I mean?
We are great. I'm having fun. How about you?
I could do this every week. I could do it every week.
It's therapy.
Oh man. Anyone But You. Okay? That's the trailer we watched.
No, but you.
No, but you, baby.
No, but you.
Listen, there's a little bit of controversy, this movie had from the first trailer just a month ago. Okay. Were you keeping up with this, Ed? Do you remember any of that?
No. I thought this was the first trailer.
You were wrong.
Oh, dear.
So anyone but you with Glenn, is it Glenn Powell?
Yes.
And Sydney Sweeney. Okay.
Hey.
There was a trailer about a month ago. We'll talk about that in a second. But anyone but you, do you have the synopsis in front of you by any chance?
Yeah.
It's one of those
outrageously hot people try to convince everybody else that they're not into each other. That's not the official one.
Directed by whoever. Yeah, that's exactly that.
Directed
that sounded
by Bob Is Your Uncle. I'm pulling
Is
it up
your
right
uncle?
now. Yeah.
Wow.
I do have an Uncle Bob, actually. Anyway, what's your point, Miguel? Get to your point.
I don't know. You fucking threw this to me. Okay. I've been drinking.
I'm trying to pull it up. Despite an amazing first date, B? Is that her name?
Why did you get so close to the computer screen?
Because
how old are we?
B-E-A. That's how they spell it. And then the guy's name is Ben. Miguel, there was a kids show in England called Bill and Ben. Bill and Ben the Flower Pot Men. B and Ben sounds basically the same fucking thing, is my point. B and Ben's initial attraction quickly turned sour. However, when they unexpectedly find themselves at a destination wedding in Australia, they pretend to be the perfect couple to keep up appearances. They're trying to get back together with their exes, is what's actually happening.
Exactly.
Miguel, what was the controversy about this?
So you saw this trailer. The vibe you got from this trailer was fun comedy. I don't know, like romantic comedy misadventures
with two very attractive people,
and also a little bit of like rated R, like comedy vibe.
Maybe. Sure.
Maybe the word fun came to mind. So in the original trailer, it came out and the whole internet was basically like, the fuck was that movie about? The trailer doesn't really show you anything other than they basically say, we should pretend to be dating. But they don't tell you why in the original trailer. And so it just comes across like, there is no chemistry here. Why are we doing this? And this one, they try to play up their chemistry a little bit more. So the fact that you thought that this was the first trailer means the marketing department earned their paycheck for this movie.
I guess. I mean, I didn't think, here's my problem. I don't think...
Go back and watch that trailer.
Okay, I will. I mean, again, they're very attractive people, but I didn't buy their chemistry. I didn't...
well, if you didn't, you should go back and watch the first one.
I also just feel like
it's even worse.
Sweeney is one of those,
she's not a good actress.
Thank God you said it. Yes, thank God you said it. Her monotone voice is distracting.
She works. I loved her in, I almost said White Lotus. Okay?
Yeah.
Because I bought that character. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And because that tone of voice works for that character. Yeah.
Yeah, Glenn Powell worked for that, for Top Gun, for that character in Top Gun.
Oh, okay.
I hear he's in a movie directed by Richard Linklater
on Netflix.
That is very good. I'm not a huge Richard Linklater fan, but I do want to check it out. But he does strike me as one of those Tom Cruise-y actors who's just always on. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he is obviously very attractive. But it's just like one of those just... I don't know. Maybe it's just my own insecurity that I hate seeing just
attractive men,
stupidly attractive people just just acting. I don't know. There's a level that I'm willing to buy. And then there's this is just all bullshit.
I think it's kind of crazy. He's been on the scene for a minute. He's popped up in a few different things. And
The Dark Knight Rises, we figured out.
The Dark Knight Rises, yeah.
Yeah.
And you could credit that to being like, well, that was maybe early in his career, and that's a really big movie to be a part of, But it is kind of wild that he hasn't popped off more than, and it seems like maybe this is like his
That
moment.
dude is 1 year... Oh, he's from Austin, Texas.
And he's 1 year older than you. Is that what you're about to say?
Yeah, and fuck if he doesn't. God damn! Look at those abs. Whew.
Ed, focus. I noticed you kept saying
what I mean.
You kept saying beautiful people.
I mean, Sydney Sweeney obviously is very attractive too, but yeah, I think her acting is just boring.
It's not on our docket, but Sydney Sweeney is also going to be in that Madam Web movie.
And I thought the same thing when I saw that trailer.
And so I had to go back.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about that. I had to
go back and watch that trailer tonight because I watched Anyone But You, and then I was like, oh yeah, she's also that spider character. Let me go and watch that one too.
Like, if anybody just wants to watch a terrible trailer, just go watch that because you don't know what's going on. You don't know why you care about any of these characters.
Well, her mom was doing research in the rainforest.
In the rainforest, spiders.
When she died.
Kill me. God damn it. All right, that's another rabbit hole for another day. But Anyone But You, official trailer, there it is. Miguel, are you going to go see this film?
No, absolutely not.
Okay,
we could watch it. We could watch it at home.
All right, well, this week we don't have a feature discussion.
Thank God.
Next week, we're hoping maybe we'll have all caught up on Napoleon. Mm-hmm. I told Miguel earlier I have a target of 4 films, and I've already checked off 1 for this week.
Busy boy.
Busy boy. Trying to put that Regal Unlimited to the test. But yeah, Miguel, what have we been into, man?
Yeah, I'll keep this light and tight. It feels like a long episode. But, well, it's not too late. I have watched a lot of things.
I'm cutting you off at 11.
Okay. I've watched... Oh, God, we got to hurry. I've watched a lot of things this week. You know what rhymes?
Some surprising things.
Yeah.
Sorry, I interrupted your segue. Please continue. What does rhyme with week, Miguel?
Greek.
Oh man.
I don't know how we did this, but we came across it's streaming somewhere like Paramount or something.
It's on Peacock.
Yeah. Kristen and I watched My Big Fat Greek Wedding 3.
Woo!
This was a fine movie. Okay, this was just absolutely fine. Have you seen the first 2 movies, Ed?
I've seen the first one. Didn't.
We've seen the first one. I watched the second trailer. Okay. Yeah. And I watched this movie. Listen, I'm going to tell you something. This is just like a movie of bits.
Yeah.
They're like, what's funny in this scene? Let's do that. Yeah. And it's fine. And then there's like a through line, like a kind of, loose story with some random heavy bits. Like,
I'm going to mute my mic because I need to sneeze.
So something that that comical ass, like Benny Hill, like Charlie Chaplin sneeze you just did. That was insane. I can't believe that you muted it, but I heard it. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I lost my train of thought. Now I'm just talking to myself. My Big Fat Greek Wedding. It's got some heavy bits just kind of thrown in there. No, I want Ed to hear this bit. He just walked away. I'm gonna wait till he gets back. He's almost back with his headphones, and then I'm gonna say something silly. I don't know. Let's see. Hang on one second. And then the mom had a penis the entire time.
A penis, you say?
Yes. I couldn't believe it. She said, "My big fat what?" No.
My big fat Greek penis. If that's not a porn parody already, oh man,
we're off the rails. We're off the rails at this point.
I'm sorry. I had to sneeze real bad and I had to blow my nose real bad. I'm sorry, everyone.
Don't draw the curtain. Don't let him know.
Ooh, boy.
Listen, I'll just say this, man. What an unnecessary movie to be made, but it was fun.
Feels like a little bit of a cash grab.
A
but
little bit, and there were some tender moments. They pivoted to some things. I don't know if the actress is actually going through this or if this was just a choice, but the mother of the film,
is
uh,
dead.
no, the patriarch has passed. But the mother of the film, she's going through like Alzheimer's or dementia or
Oh,
something. And
oof.
they don't make that a main focal point. It just is something that comes up kind of randomly every now and then. And you're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's sad. But yeah, and it's I don't know if you remember me saying this, but in Toy Story 4, they really make Buzz Lightyear. It's like they just make him like this doofus, like this dope. You know what I mean? And it's like fine to make him funny, but it just doesn't feel like genuine to whatever character he was already.
Right. Sure.
And the husband, the one who originally marries in the Big Fat Greek Wedding,
Right.
they make him real stupid. You know what I mean? And
I
a
was
lot
getting
of
that vibe from the trailer, to be
a
honest.
lot, yeah, and a lot of the bits are circled around with "Wow, you're a dummy," and it's just
Yeah.
like maybe he is a dummy. I didn't really watch those
Because
movies
he's
too
a
much.
fish out of water in Greece.
Yeah, but it's just like, oh,
No,
okay,
no,
it's
not
been
at
like
all. He's a
it's been
sweet,
20 years.
intelligent man. No, yeah. I always had like a deep affection for the first one. It's a very
I
sweet
think that's
movie.
the
It's
one, right?
funny.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, it never. Yeah, it's kind of like Bridget Jones's Diary and shit like that. You just don't.
What a
You you
comparison. Yeah,
you struck lightning with the first one. That's all you need to
yeah.
do.
And that first one was a hit. I mean, I
It
remember like I
was,
wasn't
yeah,
even
yeah.
really following movies then,
I
but
mean, it
I
was like
remember people
nominated
talking
for
about
like
that.
best original screenplay or something like that. Like
Yeah, that was
it
very
was very
popular when it
popular at the
came out.
time. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But yeah. So, well, hey, you tried it. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, it was, yeah,
not
we
wouldn't have bet on that in a million years, Miguel. But I'm
yeah,
glad you
well,
watched
yeah,
it.
my wife wanted to watch it, so I said, okay, well, let's sit down and watch it. Like, I like the
Sometimes you
first
need
one.
that. No,
Yeah,
sometimes you need that like easy, comfortable movie
I'd
that
be
you can
curious.
tune
I
out when you want or whatever.
Yeah, and like I played on my phone a little bit. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, you'll be
uh,
good.
but yeah, you give it a shot. Like, watch it if you want, and you tell me what you think. Okay.
All right. We might not. Heads
Yeah.
up.
Well, I tell you something else that I'm not going to watch that you watch.
Oh, it's a show about my people.
Hey,
Oh, your fucking
I'm the
highness.
fucking Queen of England. Hey, let me tell you something. I had Diana whacked.
Ooh.
Sorry.
Oh.
They'd be like,
What the fuck did
Mom,
you say?
you're going through an episode.
Uh, yeah, so The Crown is back on Netflix. It's the final season.
Wow, how do you feel about that?
Mixed feelings. And I feel like the internet is vocalizing a lot of those feelings. So, but I'll come up and say that like I haven't finished the season yet. Sarah and I just watched the first 3 episodes, and that definitely covers, spoiler alert, Diana's death. Um, she
she died?
In the third episode, they build up to that moment.
Wow.
They do it very effectively.
Is it nice?
I know it's like been a big talking point. I guess I don't really have feelings either which way, as long as it's like not like distasteful. You know what I mean? It just, and I thought it was done very effectively and kind of respectfully. Without. I mean, it's already kind of exploiting it, and you're already expecting that from The Crown, but it is that anyway. But it's also heavily dramatized. You've got to keep that in mind. But obviously it signals to real events and real things that happen. But yes, it. Without going too deep into it, I mean, Elizabeth Debicki as Princess Diana, and just in general, like I wish Elizabeth Debicki is fucking awesome, and I wish she would get more shit. But she's really good as Princess Diana. Really strikes a chord with that.
But not as good
persona.
as Kristen Stewart, right?
Yeah, that triumphant performance. No, hard disagree, but Yeah. So anyway, I haven't finished it yet. I'm just kind of announcing that we've started it. And yeah, I mean, it isn't a show that really can carry on, obviously, for all the reasons,
Right.
without getting like
Well, you're
extremely
gonna get
complicated.
like at
Uh,
least one more season, right? Like they say, wink, wink. This is the last one, but
right. Like, wait until
wink, wink.
Charles dies, and
Oh, is the Queen gonna die at the end
then
of this season?
and Pedro Pascal will play
Shut
Prince
the
Charles.
fuck.
um,
We're too late. We're too late in the episode to be bringing up cultural moments. Don't do it because I'll talk forever. Don't do it. Don't do it.
but yeah, so yeah. Anyway, The Crown. It's back on Netflix. Miguel.
Hey, do you think I could watch that show? Like you know me. Do you think I would sit down and watch it?
I think you could get into it once you give it a chance. The
Okay.
first season, Miguel,
Mhm.
has Jared Harris in it, and you're a fan of Jared Harris.
I love Jared Harris.
Yeah,
Jared Harris.
He plays Elizabeth's father, King George. So
Aww.
just
The
say
first?
no, not the first, Miguel.
King
come on.
Curious George.
But no, it's each season has a great, or no, it's like every 2 seasons it introduces a new ensemble to play
Oh.
the aged family.
I thought you were about to be like, every season is great. Well, every 2 seasons is great. I was
no. Each
The
season
casting,
has
okay.
some great moments and some good casting. I do feel like the last, I don't know, it's a show that revolves around like certain events throughout the history of the royal family. So it feels random at times. It feels inconsequential at times. There are definitely just like some silly episodes from time to time, but it's more so just like the silliness of the whole concept of the monarchy,
royal family
sense.
or whatever.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So like if you can relish that, but it has that kind of delicious drama behind the scenes.
Ooh.
Yeah, like there's been some like great acting moments too.
Olivia
like,
Colman, is she in this one?
Olivia, no, she was in the middle 2 seasons. It's Imelda Staunton now.
Oh, she's from Harry Potter.
She is, yeah, and Leslie Manville is her is Princess Margaret. But right now, like especially the last 2 seasons prior to this it's been the Charles and Diana story. You know what I mean? Like the Queen has taken backstage. That's not how you phrase that. Taken out of the spotlight, as it were. Anyway, backstage to kill her. But no, yeah. So it's been good. Anyway, all that to say, I think
I'll watch it.
I would dare you to just watch the first 2 episodes of season 1, maybe.
I dare you. Okay.
I dare you. So yeah, Miguel, you've been on an interesting spree this week.
Yeah,
intentional or not, but it makes me want to do the same because you know me. But yeah, you've been getting into a bit of maybe just like subconsciously getting ready for Napoleon.
I think that's what's happening. Yeah, I accidentally over the last week have watched 3 Ridley Scott movies.
Which is insane. It's impossible to get you to watch any one director for
just
one
like
week.
boom, 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 like that. Yeah, I know. and the movies that I picked, I'm gonna be real.
Yeah. I mean, that's a testament to Ridley Scott because he's got some goodies.
Yeah,
and he's got some.
I fought the urge to be like, is Ridley Scott a bad director? Like, there were some choices here that I was like, well, I don't like these.
That's why. Like in all seriousness, that's why a ranking would be very interesting.
I'm looking forward to this one because now I'm like, oh shit, I've accidentally got started, so I might as well keep going.
Because he does. He really does have some like real shit kickers, and you're just like, huh. And to meet the man, and by which I mean like on social media and video, like interviews and shit like
He's
that.
Scary.
If you're just like when you made this film, where you're just like, yeah, fuck it. kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. No, one of the big complaints about Napoleon is that he's being like inaccurate with the history or
Well,
whatever.
yeah. And he's just like, well, fuck that.
Don't worry, Ed. I'm not going to talk about Napoleon here.
Sorry.
You got
I've been
real
avoiding reviews.
I understand. I'm not going to talk reviews, okay?
I apologize.
But he was basically just like, I don't care. And when I watched one of these movies, I remember it being like, I like the director to be a little bit factually. Like when you think about Christopher Nolan, like imagine he was like, they were like, hey, that black hole's not really that accurate. And he was like, I don't care. You know what I mean? Like you would be a little like, oh, okay.
Can you imagine Christopher Nolan say that about anything?
No, I can't. No.
I don't care.
Emma.
Killian. I don't care if it can't be done. I just want you to do it.
Sorry, I'm getting lost. I did 3. We'll talk them real quick because I feel like we're going to talk about them when we do the ranking. But I was in the mood. I've had a couple of weeks. It's a little slow season at work where I've just had kind of movies on in the background while I'm working. The first one I got in the mood for was Prometheus. Okay. I love Alien, the first movie. The second movie is like one of the greatest, like sci-fi movies of all time. And even though James Cameron did that one, and I like the franchise. There's like that middle ground of the Alien franchise is not that great. And so when he came out with Prometheus again, you were like, oh, this is going to be like take us back to like the good old days. Yeah. Prometheus was like fine. You know what I mean? And in retrospect was the much better movie. You know what I mean? Of the two.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
Not of the original movie. No, the original movie is amazing.
No, I know what you mean.
But I also watched back to back. I watched Prometheus and then I watched Alien Covenant. And man,
yeah,
had
you seen Covenant?
I had one time, so there was like a couple of moments in my head that stood out, but ultimately I didn't really remember the story. And I thought, I liked the first movie, like pretty decently. And I liked how it ended, how, she was like, you're going to take me to the creator's planet. We're going to meet them. And I remembered him going to the creator planet in my head. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, that's like that must be like the whole second half of the movie or something. Like he somehow gets the ship and he goes to that planet or something. Or maybe that's the beginning of the movie and whatever. Man, they're on that planet for 0 minutes. It is like 35 seconds. We see that scene and then it's done. The main character from the first movie is like unceremoniously killed off. But it is a story element also, so it helps. But ultimately, I lost the through line just a little bit. Although I guess they refocused on the character of David being the bad guy of the franchise. And I really liked. Yes. Hang on a second.
Michael Fassbender.
He's doing great. I like that. I like what Michael Fassbender is doing. Yeah. I'm just taking my step back because I'm rambling and I just want to be coherent, especially about Alien Covenant. Because I was like, this conceptually was a movie that I really liked, but it just kind of lost me in certain elements.
Yeah. It was that awkward phase where Ridley Scott kind of asserted himself as the kind
alien
of
director.
Yeah, like other projects were being thrown around, like Neil Blomkamp.
Yeah. Which I was
someone else too.
I was really excited. And he was
just
for that
like,
version.
no, I'm going to do it, but then unfortunately, just did nothing with it. Like
absolutely
the idea, especially of Prometheus, the idea of Prometheus was more exciting than what it turned out to be, and maybe that was because of the marketing or whatever. But as you know, when you see that movie, it's got some glaring flaws,
mm-hmm. And that was the better one
with Alien Covenant. And actually, Alien Covenant gets less interesting once the alien shows up, in my mind.
That's such a great point because I was sitting there the entire time thinking, I like the concept of this movie, and I kind of wish the alien wasn't in it at all. You know what I mean? I liked
It
this.
almost wasn't necessary. Like having it there as a specimen, but maybe not as a fully formed being, would have been better because we know what Alien is. We know what it looks like. We know what it can
Exactly.
do.
We already know that.
But finding out that origin, like in that kind of like fucked up way, would have been far more interesting. And like
Absolutely.
the
And this
ending of that
robot.
movie is cool. Yeah, the android,
Yes. Oh,
um,
sorry. I didn't realize we were
David.
Android rights over here.
Get your science fiction.
No. Hang on, hang on. You're going to take the words right out of
Theme.
my mouth before I get a chance to say them. I
Do it. Sorry.
I agree wholeheartedly about I wish the alien wasn't the focus. I love the idea of David being the bad guy and his whole thing being like his father, like his creator, wanting to be a creator. What a concept for this universe. And if they had made the whole thing about him just trying to start these like whatevers, like these perfect beings and always killing off the specimens in the process, you know what I mean? Like that's almost a tragic story about this like super dark character, you know what I mean? And Michael Fassbender, this is like for me, I was the most engaged with him than I almost ever am with Michael Fassbender. And in this one, they do the whole like
he was great in these movies,
they do the whole David and Walter. All of a sudden there's like a new version of the robot. Now, I do want to spoil something real quick, okay? Spoilers for Alien Covenant, and we won't talk too long about it. Right away, you know, oh, they're going to do the whole. He's going to make himself look like exactly the switcheroo, right? And then, oops, the wrong robot's going to be at the wrong place, at the wrong time, kind of deal. That was something that almost immediately I was like, oh, duh, like of course he's going to do that, and I just kept expecting it to happen. And I will say, for something that was so obvious, at least for me, the execution was pretty good at the end. You know what I mean? Like when they finally reveal the twist, it's like, oh, that's pretty good. Like if you were dumb and you didn't see it coming at all, like that would be like monumental. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I only watched it once in theaters, and I have actually been thinking about rewatching it, so I need to.
It's a moment where she tells him like something that she told Walter, the Walter robot. She's like, she mentions something about the cabin that she's going to build on the new world, and the Walter robot like looks at her, and you can tell he doesn't register what she's saying, and she's already in the pod, and he's locked her in there, and she's like, I'm talking about the cabin, Walter, and that's when she realizes it's not Walter, and he puts her to sleep, and then he takes the alien specimens and he puts them in the science machine to keep growing.
Yeah.
And kind of like at the end of the first movie, Prometheus, it's like I do want to see where it's going, but I just don't think it's going to be a really good payoff. You know what I mean? So it's like,
yeah. And it's just like too many characters who are just like they just make stupid decisions, and when it's so many stupid decisions, it's hard to buy into. You know what I mean?
You know what?
That like none of the characters, like when the android is the most likable character out of all of it, like you're just I'm ready for all of these people to die. You know what I mean?
I will say,
like in Alien, you were rooting for Sigourney Weaver.
Mm-hmm.
Prometheus, I wasn't really rooting for anybody other than David.
Mm-hmm.
And the same could be said for Alien Covenant. I don't remember any of the other characters beyond David. So
that's interesting. I was going to say, watching it, I don't think any of them were making bad like acting choices. I just think it was like a whole story structure was just not great. So absolutely. Just to remind you, Danny McBride is in this movie. And he's kind of good. So
oh shit, yeah.
Idris Elba in Prometheus is like this country southerner like pilot of the ship. Oh my god, I'm just blanking on his name. Tennessee is the character's name. Danny McBride. He fits that role so much more easily in this version of the movie. Right. So there's like characters that are like, oh, I appreciate you in this a little bit more. But yeah, just ultimately,
Yeah,
there's this whole
but they're like
aspect where
parallels of one another.
the captain of the ship dies at the very beginning of the movie. So the first mate becomes the captain, and he is like
Yeah,
wholly unlikable. Like people hate him, and he just doesn't connect with
right.
humans on like a human level. And that drama is really good. And then the alien comes in, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, I guess we got to do this. So yeah, these two movies back to
Right.
back, while they were entertaining enough for what I needed them to be, they weren't great. I will say I'm not going to overtalk it right now. I did watch The Martian also in a week span. I did 3 Ridley Scott
Yes.
movies, but I'm not going to talk about The Martian until Luis is on because Luis seemed to have a lot of really hard opinions on this. So I will say,
Well, I also wanted to catch up on that because The Martian is another one that I haven't seen since theaters.
yeah,
Um, and I think it's time for a revisit. And you know me, I'm going to push with his ranking. So,
I tell you what,
yeah, it's time to go back and watch them.
without spoiling too much, I will say the climax of the movie, it definitely got me hooked. You know what I mean? I was enjoying the story enough, but when the climax was
No, I
happening, I
mean,
was like, "Oh shit, I'm wow, okay, I'm in it." You know. So I'll talk more about it.
I don't remember. Yeah, there wasn't anything I didn't like about it. It just hasn't. I
Well,
didn't like blow me away or anything. But what do you? Anyway, I'm a big Ridley Scott fan, and then I'm not. It's a fickle
love of
relationship. I'll
hate,
say that.
love, whatever.
Love hate. Yeah,
That's what I'm trying to
he's
say. Yeah,
like the just like the grumpy. He's the grumpy uncle. You
yeah,
know what I mean? The
yeah,
grumpy uncle director who doesn't give a fuck what you think about him.
yeah.
He's just going to keep doing what you're doing. You can either get on board or not. And sometimes he's entertaining, and then sometimes he's like, all right, that's enough to drink. Um, anyway,
No, I will say I'm looking forward to this ranking. Like, there's some directors that I just absolutely love, and I don't need to watch all of their movies to have that
yeah,
opinion. But he's
but
someone
he's a
that every
mix.
now,
He's a
yeah, every
mix.
time I watch something, I like it, or I'm like, I don't know about it.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to this one. Ed,
Yeah, no. Cool.
you were into a couple of things
I've seen
here.
two new movies in the last week. Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, so I got to see Alexander Payne's The Holdovers. This is, it's Oscar season, so this is one on my list. This is the
I
one
really
starring
want to
Paul
see this one.
Giamatti. Oh, okay. Well, good. I won't spoil it or anything. All that to say, it's I like Alexander Payne. He did About Schmidt, um, Sideways, The Descendants, and Nebraska is my least favorite of his, probably.
Oh,
And then he had that movie Downsizing with Matt Damon,
which is your second least
but
favorite?
I haven't seen that one. Well,
You're
I
not
haven't
gonna
seen
like
it,
that.
to be
You're not
fair.
gonna like
So
that one. I'm gonna be honest. You're not gonna like that
okay. All right. Well, I hated Nebraska. I had a very violent reaction to that one,
one.
and
Violent.
anyway, but violent. Like I wanted to leave the theater because I was not enjoying it, um, which I seldom feel. You know, but the holdovers was kind of just like it was like a warm hug of a movie. It was like
Oh,
exactly, and not in a bad way. It's just like the what you see in the trailer is what you get.
I love that. I love
You
that.
get a wonderful performance from Paul Giamatti. Um, it's it's a it's a comfort movie in that regard. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and it's nice and seasonable. Like, it's set around Christmas. It's so basically it's this private boys' school in the 70s, I want to say. And Paul Giamatti plays this kind of like grumpy English no, he's like a Greek history teacher, or Latin history, I guess would be more precise. And he, over the Christmas break, he is tasked with babysitting for the boys who didn't get to go home for whatever reason. And it's about his connection with one of those boys, one of the students, played by Dominic Sessa, I want to say is his name. And then they're accompanied by Davine Joy Randolph, who is the cook, the cafeteria lady. Um, and they just kind of, you're just seeing them go through this. Like, obviously, the kid is like angry he doesn't get to go home for Christmas, so he's kind of like acting
Mm.
out, and but they like bond. Like I said, the what you see in the trailers is what you're going to get from this
Mhm.
movie, and no way in a bad way. It just like very well done. It looks good. It feels good. It had some very poignant themes running through about, at least for me, was significant at this moment in my life. Um, and Paul Giamatti is great. He really takes it home in the final scene. Um, and he just feels like, you know he's in his comfort zone too. Like, him with Alexander Payne, I guess, just work well together. But yeah, it's good. Yeah, it's just like the comfort movie of the year. Like, you could see it getting maybe some nominations. It's not going to be like a strong contender, I don't think, because of that. But it is really good. I think Davine Joy Randolph. She was really good. I think she might get like an Oscar nomination. Like, if any of them do, it'll be her.
Oh.
But yeah, no, it was just nice. It was a nice film. It was like just over 2 hours. It didn't overstay its welcome. It has the signature Alexander Payne kind of road trip uh, scenario. So yeah. Um, and then the other movie I
Wait,
watched
wait.
was
I just
just
want to
this
say,
evening. Oh, wait.
sorry, I just want to say, I am also excited
Do it.
about the
Yeah.
holdovers. And I will
Good.
never forget there was like a list of trailers that played before Oppenheimer this year, and the holdovers was one of them. And every single trailer that I watched before Oppenheimer, I was like, I have to see this movie.
Yeah.
This trailer looks so good. And I'll never forget the holdovers. It
Yeah.
just like this vibe was so like retro trailer, like retro cinematography. And it just looked,
Yeah, totally.
and the way you said it was like this comfort movie, I understand that immediately. No, I can't wait to watch this one. So I'm glad that you liked it.
Yeah. And they lean into that too with the cinematography, I mean, and the feel of it. It does feel like that older kind of movie. Um, but it hits home. It's fun. Yeah. So would recommend. It's in theaters right now. And what just came out into theaters, Miguel.
Yeah.
Um, did you know that Disney is celebrating their 100-year anniversary
Oh yeah,
this
baby.
year,
Mm-hmm.
2023? Yeah, it's everywhere. So yes, they have released their latest Disney animated film, Wish, with Ariana DeBose as a character named Asha, who lives in a town, a city, country called Rosas, somewhere in the Mediterranean, unspecific. And basically, it's ruled by a sorcerer king, played by Chris Pine, who every now and again, at the age of 18, everybody gives their like life wish to him, and throughout the years, he can use his powers to make those wishes come true. Um,
Oh.
but it's kind of like it's kind of selective, and you find out why. So anyway, this is supposed to be a culmination of the entire history of Disney's animation, and our daughter was super. She's been super excited for this movie since the first trailers came out.
Uh-huh.
Specifically, she really enjoyed the goat, played by Alan Tiddick, naturally. Um, and yeah, so some mixed feelings.
Oh.
Overall, the story is just like very kind of like back to basics for Disney. Not necessarily in a bad way. I feel like a lot of their more recent animated movies kind of like overdo it as far as their complicated themes, go as far as they go. It's definitely harkens back to kind of like the classic era of just like, here's your hero villain. There's not a whole lot of depth to this movie, I guess, is
Sure.
what I'm saying, and not a lot of building on its own mythology. Though we're supposed to just understand that it's little Easter eggs plucked from Disney's collection. There are references to like the fairy godmother and Cinderella, Maleficent, the uh, the magic mirror from Snow White. The seven dwarves are kind of mimicked in this movie with Usher's friends. Her and her friends, they make a team of seven. But like these, they're all kind of more like I said, Easter eggs, and they're not like developed ideas. Like these characters are supposed to all be her friends, but you only get like kind of cliche understandings of their characters. Like there's a sleepy one, there's a grumpy one, and they really beat that one to death, kind of thing. Um, there's a dopey one, and so it's a movie that they've hyped up to be this kind of grandiose celebration of this
Oh.
brand, this legacy, and
Ew.
unfortunately, it just doesn't feel. I don't feel like it's kind of tacked on, but it does feel like it was underdeveloped. Like they could have gotten a little bit more depth out of the story and out of these characters. It is very surface level. I'll say that. Like the animation is gorgeous. I'll say that, and I'm glad for what it's worth in that regard that Disney like amidst movies like the Spider-Verse, the Mitchells versus the Machines, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, all of these new animated movies are kind of pushing the boundaries, and we've had 20 years of the same kind of style of Disney movies. So it's nice in that regard that they're going to switch it up a little bit whilst also embracing that classical look, which I feel like is you know necessary for Disney. Like I that's a part of, like I said, that legacy, and you want to carry that through all of their movies. So for that, technically, it's great. A lot of the songs, most of the songs aren't very memorable. Unfortunately, like Ariana DeBose, like the big song, "This Wish," is fine. It's good. Um, but I don't think it's going to be one of those that people are singing at karaoke. 10 years later,
What
it's
did
not. Let It Go or any other Disney classic.
what'd
Sorry,
your
go
daughter
ahead.
what'd your daughter think about it?
And that's the next thing I was going to say. The overall feeling in the theater, and it wasn't like a super crowded one, but there are a lot of kids. They were all excited and they enjoyed it, and there were laughs when there was supposed to be laughs.
Yeah.
So to that extent, like it did a good job. And it wasn't necessarily a bad movie. I didn't have a bad time with it. It was nice,
But
it was
shallow.
easygoing. Shallow, yes. Uh, and it just there are so many ideas that kind of pop up that just they either never come back to or just never expand upon, and so you're just kind of left with this kind of hollow shell of
Oh,
an
yeah.
idea
Oh,
of a
okay.
movie.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, so that's what Disney feels like right now, is just a hollow shell of itself
The
and
cash grab.
kind of just nodding to its yeah, sadly. And I mean, it seems like such a wasted effort considering the talent involved. And again, the look is gorgeous. Like if you were just going from like that, the animation style alone, like it's in competition with the other movies that I listed earlier. Like it is unique in that way, and even amongst Disney movies. So that was refreshing. But yeah, overall, it just felt a little hollow. Chris Pine, you could tell he's kind of eating the roll up. You know, he's like enjoying himself. Again, like his songs, I mean, again, great singer, and even in animation form, he looks hot. You know, um, but his songs are fine, and you know they make it clear who's the villain. You know,
right.
pretty much from the off, and you get that sense in the trailers too. And yeah, just like a lot of scenery chewing from him. But yeah, I mean, it's a shame uh, that it wasn't just a fully developed idea. I feel like it was just more like, oh shit, 100th birthday is coming
Yeah.
up, and we need a movie that acknowledges that. And like I said, it has some funny, amusing Easter eggs, but nothing that hits on a sentimental
So
level. Even it's just more of like oh hey, it's a spot it kind of deal.
so theaters or Disney Plus?
Phew. Theaters, because if you have kids and they're excited for this movie, just take them to the theaters because they'll enjoy it. Visually,
It's
it's
something to do.
fun. The side character, and it's super quick. Like this movie it was like an hour and 30 minutes. It was done in no time.
Love that.
And like I'm talking about all of this, like expanding on certain elements, and I think maybe they could have just honed in on some of the things that they were trying to start, initiate in the story, to give it just like an emotional oomph to it. But like I said, it's all surface level. But it worked for the kids involved, and visually it looked great. The side characters, like the goat,
the goat.
I forget his name right now. The goat,
Alan.
And then the star, the wishing star, is fun. And some of the side characters too are fun. But it's just, yeah, it's not like so many of their recent movies have a little bit more depth to this. Like whether you like them or not, it doesn't expand on its own mythology, and so it just makes it a little bit forgettable. Like honestly, so yeah, it's a mixed bag, but like the kids will likely enjoy it, and there's something for everyone too. It's not like all princesses and all of that. But it's definitely not their best, and I don't think they put their best effort into this one beyond the look of it. So, yeah, there you go. I would give it like 3 out of 5 stars.
Go see Disney Wish in theaters now. What an episode! Hey, we nailed it, dude.
We did. I think we did. That was a long one too. So surprise, Louise.
Sorry.
Yeah. Next week, we have been alluding to, we're trying to maybe see Napoleon and maybe do a Ridley Scott ranking, or do that as a follow-up. We'll see how busy we get. But I've got 3 more movies on my list to see. And we've got Thanksgiving to celebrate. So thanks for listening. As always, this week it's been me, your host, Edward Ball, and with me,
Miguel Sanchez.
There he is. And so until next time, hopefully joined by Louise, it's been us, and I see you.